Get outside and see what's going on. I hear a lot of banging around going on.
Build the house.
Hmm?
Back to back. There are people back to back to build the house.
Who's back to back?
Over there, over there, over here.
Yeah, I know.
Over here.
There's all kind of house building going on.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on this morning. Let's come out and take a look. Oh my goodness gracious, I need to adjust my settings again here. All right. Helium is here. Anime Reyes in the house. Who else is here? I missed somebody. Thanks everybody for being here today. Pressy Manzanero's here. Welcome in. Shaney is here. Birthday giveaway coming up. Raid from Glenda. Big, huge giveaway going on. Mike Married is here. How are you, Mike? Yeah, well, anyway, the guys got hung up a little bit this morning because they were at the checkpoint. You know how that goes. I think they're still working on the base plates for these columns for this section of fence right here. We just got an order of sand in, so we got something like a total of 80 bags sitting here, more or less. I think. Don't look like 80 bags, does it? Anyway, I hope we have enough. And they're building the rebar columns over here. They've been doing a lot of digging. They've had to go down pretty deep because the earth is very soft. So you can see what's going on here. It's been hot as hell here in the Philippines too. And the guys are making shade wherever they can find it. Looks like we need some hollow block too. I think we have 100 more hollow block coming. It's going pretty well, I would say. But this is what I'm worried about, not having enough sand. We got people working on it. I got people and they're working on it. Welcome in to the Philippines. Bye-bye City Leyte. 11 million people are here. Thank you so much for being here. So basically we're off to a nice start. It was a little cooler here this morning than most mornings, but the guys got hung up on the main highway because they had a checkpoint going on. So they had to wait to figure out how to circumvent that checkpoint. They got held up. I really don't know the whole story. It's no big deal. They were only a couple of minutes off the mark. That's about it. So we're gonna do this fence line. You can see they're digging. They're more than halfway, it looks like, or about halfway. And I hope the next half goes a little bit easier for them because I've been seeing them struggling a little bit. So we might need some more rebar, I'm not sure. Anyway, things are moving right along here in Bye-Bye City. The fence is looking pretty dang good, I would say. Progress is being made. Soon we'll have the engineer coming over. He's going to meet with us this weekend. I have a few questions about load distribution and things like that I want to ask him about. Because if I can avoid excavating, having to hire an excavator and things like that, that would be very, very nice. And so I'm going to run a couple of ideas by him to see if they will fly. I'm okay with building columns, but if I could avoid doing that by using tube steel for the supports, not on the fence line, by the way. Fence line, you gotta have these. But I'm talking about when we get around to actually building the house, it would be nice. Raid by Glenda Montero. Hey, you want some money at Pinky Gray's giveaway? Didn't ya? That's what I saw. A couple of you did, I think. That's great. Thanks for supporting the lovely Pinky Gray. My best buddy, one of the original live streamers that I got hooked up with here in the Philippines. We've met before. Yeah, we met. She flew down, or she took the bus down from Isabela. We met in Manila. That rhymes, huh? I'm always rhyming. I don't know how that works out, but or why. 6 million people in the house at the moment. Right here is the Mahone down here. Anyway, yeah, if we could prevent a lot of digging anyway. I mean, there's no getting around the septic system, which is going to be going over there in the corner. So I'm not sure my idea is going to work out. I have to run it by the engineer to see what's up, to see if it can be done this way. But instead of using rebar for support columns, I'd rather use tube steel. Tube steel is actually very, very strong, and it would save a lot of time because you just have a mounting plate you weld on down to the bottom. It has to be done a certain way. Hi, how are you? Good morning. It has to be done a certain way, but it would be real quick in order to put those support columns on steel plate. Tube columns, you know, tube steel. And so it works this way too, though. And I'm fine with it, except it's time consuming. It takes a lot of time. Anyway, that is further down the road because we still have to submit plans to the city to get the plans approved so we can get a building permit. This part of it I'm not so worried about. And by the way, if you start building without a permit, it's a 10,000 peso fine, I believe. And I'm not sure if they make you tear down your structure or not. I'm not sure. I have to do a little bit more research because 10,000 wouldn't be such a terrible thing, right? They're making progress at the house. Minnie was just saying, I don't know if you heard her in the background, she was saying, man, there are houses being built back to back to back to back all over this neighborhood. And I had said when we first moved here, I was pretty certain that that was going to happen. So I was pretty certain that that was going to happen. Let's walk down here. Let's walk down here. I want to show you what's going on down here at the... Oh, I might lose signal for a second or two. I apologize if we end up... Rodell, I apologize if we end up losing the signal. Because right here, there's a problem with the data connection, the cell phone connection. Somewhere in here. Anyway, look at this 2-story house. Right there on this fine lot. You know, the back half of this lot. I'm not sure if this is a single lot or not. So, let's walk down here. I want to show you this exciting thing that's going on. I noticed this yesterday, and I was thinking maybe I should do a video on this, but then I changed my mind and said, I'll just do a live feed on this thing. I want to show you what's changing over here because it's kind of exciting. Because like I've been talking about how this area, even though it hasn't happened in a while, there are parts of it that are prone to flooding. And they're trying to do whatever they can in order to mitigate the flooding. So now, our particular lot over there does not flood. I cannot tell you why it doesn't. I can't. I really don't have any idea, except that it just doesn't. But it does up around certain of these little neighborhoods, and they're trying to mitigate that. So you have this project going on here. And I came walking through yesterday and...
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to my vlog. We are live. Hi, guys. How are you? So they're doing a fantastic job here. They're doing a fantastic job. Welcome to my vlog.
Thank you.
I just wanted to show them the hard work you guys were doing here. So this is storm drain, and you have utility line in there also. But check this out. Check this out. Look at this. See down here? They're going to be putting in the storm drain to make sure the water has some place to go. And then down here you can see that black line. Remember I was talking about the water line? That's water line right there. That's what they run. That's what you grab off of, that main water line, in order to get water to your house. Now thankfully we already have our water line for that property that we're building over there. Thank God we do. Because the tree is full now. That water tree that holds the meter is completely full. And we got the last one available, the last meter available on that line. So we're kind of lucky that way. But I wanted to show you something. You see how they have to do a lot of work here. They had an excavator here and they're digging all this out. And they have a lot of root systems in here. And so they've had to displace a few trees so they can make way for this drainage, this water drainage. But here's what caught my attention. So there are areas over here that flood. Oh, here comes Jel. Jel, why did you wreck my car? Why did you wreck?
I'm going to buy rice now.
Okay, but why did you crash my car?
No, I'm not the one.
You're not the one? There's only two people that drive it. That's Minnie and you. Alright, okay. No wonder Minnie's not looking at me this morning. No wonder she's avoiding me.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to my vlog. So this morning, so it floods down here a little bit. Apparently this is low-lying area down here. And there's a little bit of clay in the soil too, which prevents the water from draining, you know, into the swamp. So remember I told you we're building on reclaimed swampland. But the land, that does not mean that it's like Florida where the land was cheap. You know, it does not mean that. people are going to get whatever they can get off of the, you know, for the price of their land. Here, they've dug this out. So I just wanted to show you. So it's making a turn here. This is the really low-lying area. So they definitely know what they're doing. Jerry is here. So you look over there and you can see they're gonna tunnel their way underneath this roadway. And then they're picking it up here and the water is going that way into the low-lying areas and it'll eventually make its way down to the ocean. So they've done a lot of work, and what's surprising about this is there's a lot of trash that's been buried in this area. And they're digging up all the treasures. Now, if I had time, I'd go over there and pick through that treasure to see if there's anything in there that I could use. There might be something in there valuable. Maybe there's gold in there, right? You think there's gold over there in that pile over there? Hi, there might be gold over there. And so if I had time, I would get a metal detector and I'd be looking for whatever I could find in there. Old gold coins that somebody dropped in there in that drainage canal. So this is also the reclamation center, the refuge reclamation center, where they separate the plastic and the usable metals from the garbage, from the actual garbage. So they put a lot of work in over here. So I guess digging up this trash right here, this pile next to the reclamation center, is not such a terrible thing. Right? Tomorrow is Friday. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday in the States. Actually, we're only a few hours away from Friday, aren't we, in the States? Yeah, I know that for sure, because I look on my calendar. That's pension day for me. That's that's when I get paid, right? So I be knowing how the calendar works. I got to pull up my shorts because they keep falling down. I don't know why that's happening. So the water makes it down into the lowest part of the swamp, which is over here. So I suppose that everybody is right, and we're at higher ground where our property is. But you know, we had to fill it in with a whole bunch of rock. We had to fill that area up, the new lot, and the old lot, come to think of it, with truckloads of river rock. And I just would like to say that that was not an inexpensive adventure. As a matter of fact, a lot of people have come to me and they said that land, you know, that land, a lot of people wouldn't touch it because they know they have to spend a ton of money building it up and getting it level before they could build on it. So, but when you compare to what it costs to build a house in the States, there's really no comparison. I mean, it costs a lot of money to build a house in the States. So, that's why you come here to the Philippines. Because housing is the great equalizer, where it's crazy in the United States and Canada, where it's almost impossible to afford a home, and even crazier to rent an apartment. You come over here to the Philippines and you have, you have low rents, you have high rents. It's whatever you want. It's whatever you could afford in your budget. So there are people here, they're probably paying, I don't know, $5,000 or less per month in rent. And there are also people that pay, the sky's the limit on rent here. And so it's basically all over the place. And so you have more of an opportunity to save money or live on a budget. Budget living is the reason why most of us are here. It's because it's also known, the Philippines, as the land of opportunity. It's something that I hope returns back to the United States, but thus far it's struggling, it's a struggle. So anyway, I wanted to show that to you. I hope you enjoyed seeing that in progress. I had heard that they were going to do this, and you never exactly know when that is going to take place. See, because they announce things and then it's all based on funding. It's all based on whether they're able to get the money to put it together. So I like it. I like it a lot. This storm drain is going to help people out a lot. And by the way, just wanted to show you this lot too. They're about ready to build here. You can see they put fence up there to protect supplies that will be coming in here. So this is another home here that's about ready to be built. The gentleman that owns this one, or the family that owns this one, is from Manila. Let's see, fully furnished house for $100. That's cheap. That's cheap. But it used to be that way here in Bye City too, but it's getting expensive. Why? Especially in this Barangy, Candatum. And the one reason why it's becoming expensive is because everybody wants to live here. You have government employees, professionals, and all kinds of people that are boosting. They're boosting the real estate here. They're boosting it up, right? So, yeah, $5,000 comparatively would be very expensive for a lot of places. I know plenty of people here that live in other barangays that are paying $2,000 or $2,500 a month rent or less. Let's go down here one more time and take a peek. There's a native house right there. That's historical right there. I would never ever do anything whatsoever to take that house down. I hope that's not the plan, because that's a historical home. So you come over here and you see all kind of building. This is the one block over, one barangay road over from us. And you see all kinds of miracles taking place. Right? Look at this. Look at this tiny home. And look at the home, the main house in the back. What? Look at this. What? This is where all my supplies are. No wonder. No wonder it's taking so long to get supplies. These guys are taking all of it. Look over here. Look over here. They're mixing. And they got this going up to heaven. Holy smokes. No, we're talking pesos. 2,500 pesos. 2,500, and a lottery pen less than that, 1,500. And we have rooming houses where we have bed spacers and things like that. Well, that's about all I got for you this morning. I wanted to show you all the activity going on. It just took off. It just all of a sudden, boom, everything's happening. This is good for the Barangy because it brings in tax revenue, property tax revenue more specifically. We need it in order to grow, in order to get all the infrastructure improvements that we need. So, you know, I think that this is the best time ever in the 20 some odd years that I've been traveling to the Philippines. This is the best time ever to be building a home here. Things are relatively expensive, or I should say comparatively expensive, when you look at post-global pandemic, but they're still very, very reasonable. They're still very, very reasonable. There's no problem putting up a home, a 3-bedroom, single bath home or single CR home for about $2 million or underneath $2 million. I'm gonna try to do it for 1.5 or less. If I could get away with 1.2 million pesos on the build, I'll be very, very happy. So far, we've probably spent 50 or 100,000 pesos, 100,000 pesos so far, 2,000 American dollars, give or take, on prepping the land and getting these fences built. Crystals is here. Crystals, owner of the one-legged chicken or something like that. And that's because chickens are very tasty. Yes, that's what mornings are like. You hear all that noise? That's what mornings are like here in the province. All right, I'm heading back to the house. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday. And don't forget, we have our Friday giveaway coming up at 6 p.m. Friday giveaway. Philippine date and time. That's tonight here in the Philippines, 6 p.m. our Friday giveaway, where we'll be giving away 3 prizes to 3 of you of 333. Where do I get that number? Don't be late. I'll be waiting for you. Let's get 30 or 40 people involved tonight. Let your friends know tonight is our regular weekly giveaway of 333 for 3 lucky winners. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.